And welcome to Michigan Replay. The Wolverines are 2 out of 2 in their drive for the Final Four. Illinois, the latest victim on Saturday, 70-21. Getting back to those days of the tough, hard-nosed defensive struggles, aren't we?
No, not really. As a matter of fact, if that game had continued or Illinois had continued the way they were the first quarter, that might have been a 70-70 tie.
How do you explain something like that happening?
Well, I think maybe the defenses are not quite as good as they have been in the conference. And there's a lot more big play players on both teams. Illinois with their great receiving and great quarterback, and on our team, of course, we can hurt you a lot of different ways now. So it was one of those games. It's nice. 70-21 is nice, but it makes you a little bit nervous when you stop to consider that the other team got well over 400 yards on your defense, and even though you won the game big, you're not going to score 70 points very often.
We will be right back with a look at the highlights, and there are a lot of them. 91 points worth. Stay with us. Saturday's 70-21 win over Illinois leaves Michigan in a tie for the Big Ten lead with Wisconsin at 5-2. But Bo, because Illinois started off so fast, I think it took you out of your game plan against them, didn't it, early?
No, as a matter of fact, when it went 21-7, and frankly it looked like it was going to 28-7, we grabbed Steve and said we're going to still stick with exactly what we're doing, and we're not going to change. But we've got enough stuff to get back in the game if we have to. But I didn't want him to get that last one. That would have really hurt.
Standing on the sidelines when they opened up.
This is the first play of the game here, Jim, and Eason keeps the ball and runs around in on a fake, and because we're all playing pass, as you know, and then they hit one in the seam down here between our corner into the sideline and our free safety for a big play, and soon to turn around, they're deep in our territory and fakes the same play again and goes in standing up for a touchdown. And we're trailing 7-0 following the opening kickoff.
And it had to concern you because it was an easy 7-0. They didn't break a sweat hardly.
No, I don't think they did, Jim, to be honest with you. But we come back here on a 3rd and 2, and Steve hits Anthony Carter for a first down at the 40-yard line. This is right after the ensuing kickoff after Illinois scored. And then Steve comes right down over the middle on the post cut to Anthony. Throws a perfect pass, and Anthony did a great job in man coverage of running the post route and beating their cornerback to get free.
Well, when are people going to learn you just don't do Anthony one-on-one?
Well, if you're going to blitz and play heavy defense to stop other things, you've got to do that. And that's what happened. Here their tight end catches a little outcut into the sideline and gets big yardage. They come right back and run a Sally play. We call this a Sally. It's a reverse, a flanker reverse, and it's a big play for them. And as you see those yard stripes pass, Jim, I want you to know they're inside the 20 again. And it didn't take them very long. Here they are on the 5-yard line and breaks outside and runs around our defense for a touchdown. And the score is 14-7.
Are you at this point saying, what do we have to do?
At this point, Jim, I'm doing a wonderful job keeping my poise and not getting upset. Here's a screen pass, well executed, and their tailback gets out to about the 40. We failed to move after they scored, and now this is their next drive, and once again they hit that ball right in the seam. It's exactly the same pass against the same defense. And Eason at this point is doing a great job picking our defense. And here he hits the tailback quick into the right flat, and that makes it 21-7.
Now, are you still in command and keeping your poise?
Yes, look at me there. I'm chewing the gum a little hard, trying to hang in there. Here's the second quarter, and we hit him just as he got this ball off, and it was a great pass to Martin, their receiver, down that same corner, and they're down there again. This is a play that got us back in there. Eason read man coverage, and they ran an out-and-up pattern with their tailback and their guys settled back into the zone and then came in and intercepted the ball.
If there can be a turning point in a game like this, was that it?
I'd say come as close as anything to being it, because had they scored then, they'd gone 28-7, and we might have had a tough time.
And again, you don't go away from your game plan, really.
Not at
You
all.
stay with it.
We ran counter play to Edwards on the first play, and then came right back with the option and pitched it out to Butch for a big gain, and we're crossed midfield. Steve comes out here and throws down the middle, threw a little short, but Anthony went up and got it. He had his man beaten, and then went up and got the ball, and we're down to the 5-yard line. And then on third down from the 1-yard line on the option play, Steve is hit right here. And you can see the strength this youngster has, because he bowled his way right into the end zone with Illinois tacklers all over him.
It's an asset of Steve Smith's that I don't think a lot of people realize until they see him do something like that.
He's a very strong youngster physically. He's only 190, 95 pounds, but he's strong. Here's a great play where they were playing kind of conservative down there, throwing to the halfbacks, but Needham jumped in front of that one and intercepted it for us, and now we got a great field position to score 21-14. And here Steve rolls out, hits Craig Dunaway quickly for a touchdown, and we're right back in the game.
First play after the interception, you're on the 10 and you go to the pass. What happened to that old...
Well, whatever, the defense wants you to do, you do, Jim. And there you go. That's the most points Illinois scored on us in '66. Here they throw down the middle again to the tailback coming out of the backfield, and moving real well here. Here's an outcut that they hit on us, and they're down inside the 10 again. And we stiffen here finally, and they run this draw play for no gain. And we finally get them stopped, and they go to the field goal, and they missed it. And that helps a lot, because at that point they could have gone ahead again, but now with the score 21-all, we get the football back. And there's just a little time left. We run the draw to Butch, and Butch comes out for a good gain, and we come right back and draw again. This time the draw is with Steve, and he comes out, crosses midfield.
When you started the drive, did you think you had a chance to go the distance?
Well, we've been able to do that before, and if you can mix them up, anything can happen. This is the key play. This is nothing more than a quarterback draw against defense in which all of the defenders lock on to the eligible receivers. And when they separate, there's an awful hole right in the middle. Gary Moeller put that play in and insisted that if they got into that coverage, and as soon as they do, we'll run that play and we'll score.
28.
And that's what happened.
28-21 at halftime. Now you're going off. I mean, most times 28-21 is a final score.
Yeah.
You must be wondering, what's going on, and what do I say at halftime?
Well, one thing you say is we'd like to play a little tighter defense. Now that's fundamental, and we felt that we still had some things that we hadn't done offensively, and we didn't have the ball a lot, but we did score 28 points. But it's maybe one of those games, Jim, where you just got to outscore them.
We'll be right back and take a look at the second half highlights, which include 42 more points, but they all came from Michigan. With a 28-21 lead against Illinois at halftime, the concern was the 21 on Illinois' part. Now, did you make any adjustments at halftime on defense to stop that great passing that they had?
Well, I thought Bill McCartney did an excellent job at halftime, because, really they didn't score the second half. And I think maybe they were a little shook with the way we were moving the ball and scoring so quickly. But right after the half, as you recall, in our first drive, we didn't get a first down and had to kick the ball to them. And so that should have given them an opportunity.
You said you were going to turn Anthony Carter loose this week, and he was the guy that got you the big play starting the second half.
And this is it. The punt to Anthony, he comes right up the middle here and finds some daylight and gets to the outside. I think if Anthony had to do over again, he wouldn't have stepped out of bounds there, because I don't think that guy got a good enough hit on him to get him out of bounds. But he stepped out there. But we got great field position here now, and come right back and give the ball to Stanley up the middle, because we had been working the perimeter quite a bit and passing quite a bit, and we felt we had to do some punching inside. But here's a quick pass to Anthony over in the corner, and that's the one that he runs so well, and Steve put it up there beautifully, and we got the touchdown.
When you say you're going to turn him loose, what does that mean? Does it
Well,
mean...
that means we'll use him a lot more on the kicking game and in other areas. I wish that youngster would carry that ball a little tighter. And, you know, that we picked up a little extra yards on that fumble, but we're a little bit lucky there. Here Steve rolls out on the heavy defense and gives the ball to Stanley in the flat. They came after us hard, and that pass helped us quite a bit. This is Rick's in at tailback now, and he runs off tackle down inside the 15, and we're knocking at the door again.
Teams are doing that a lot to you, though, coming at you hard. A lot of people, a lot of blitzing.
Well, I've never been as blitzed as much as I have the last 2 weeks. Just haven't been. Here's the option play, and Steve runs it in, standing up for the touchdown, and now we're starting to exert ourselves a little bit here and gain control of this thing. That was an important touchdown. But you're right, Jim. They're coming after us awfully hard. A lot of blitzes, and I don't know whether they don't think they can stop us the other way or not. But here's reverse with Anthony, and wisely went out of bounds there. He had 3 white shirts and no blockers. And had the first down, so he went out of bounds.
And it's needless to take that kind of a hit.
Well, that's the way I'd figure it. Here's Steve again rolling out, throwing the out cut to Anthony inside the 40-yard line. And we're in their territory again, 4-down territory, and ready to go. This was a heavy defense here, really, and we ran the option against it, and Steve kept the ball and got real good yardage. But I really, in the last 2 weeks, of course, we scored a lot of points, but they just keep coming after us with the blitz and the heavy defense.
And the thing is, that opens up the pass, and Anthony's really your dangerous receiver.
Mm-hmm. Here's Rick's coming up the middle on a 4th down, short yardage play, and going all the way to the 1, and then comes right back and scores on the next play, running off tackle here for the touchdown.
And at this point, it's 49-21. Because Illinois has such an offense, do you feel safe? Are you on the sideline?
I'm going to be as honest with you as I can, Jim. I didn't feel safe at any time. Now, when we got to 70, I felt safe. The way they moved that ball the first quarter, I was nervous the whole game.
And the defense picked up, too, the second half.
Yes, I thought they did a much better job in coverage, and you know, we did some things that helped, and at least we got him scrambling out of the pocket, and he throws an errant pass here that's picked off by Tony Jackson, who returns it down inside the 30-yard line, and we're in scoring position again. So, but you're right, you know, these offenses are so explosive, you don't know when you've had enough. B.J. Dickey throwing over the middle to Vince Bean, and interference on the post cut, and so we have a first down.
He had a tough day.
He had a tough day, he really did. Here's the trap play up the middle, and Stanley goes in standing up for a touchdown, and we're I'm feeling a little more secure right now. But
with 56, but not secure enough.
No. Here's an option play. B.J. Dickey pitches out to Rick Rogers, our freshman tailback, and Rick gets down to the 10-yard line, and a couple of plays later goes in off tackle for the touchdown, and this is his first collegiate touchdown, and I don't think it'll be his last. I think he's going to be a good back. Also
good that the kids get experience, these younger kids in the second team, because you need these depth players.
Yeah, these are all reserve players in there now, and here's Dickey throwing to Fred Brockington on a deep pass, and once again, Jim, they were up on us and just defying us to run, and you know, there's not much else you can do. And then Dickey comes out here and hits Tom Hassel, sophomore fullback, for a touchdown, and I believe that's his first collegiate touchdown.
70-21. Now, you mentioned it after the game also, that some people might criticize you a little bit for running it up, scoring that many points, but it isn't that way, especially the way they play defense. Now, explain that.
First of all, you know, reserve players, as long as you substitute, I think reserve players can. Of course, you're always afraid with an explosive attack like they have. But the defenses today dictate what kind of plays you run. And some plays are successful for bigger yardage than others, and when they get up on you, if you don't pass, you might as well run 3 plays into the line and kick. And so when you're playing against those heavy defenses, you run the risk of big plays, which is what happened.
And a point you made, too. The second team kids get in there. You can't go in, tell them after all week of practice, go in and stop.
That's right. You practice these things, and you're going to do this against this, and you're going to do this and that, and you're suddenly going to say, now, you buck into the line 3 times and punt. Now, I don't think that's the way to do it. But I want to say this, that I believe that this game is not a typical game. And I don't think that Illinois should be beaten that badly. I don't think we should be winning by that big a margin. The two teams are not that far apart, and I think the first half indicated that they weren't. And I wouldn't want our team to get overly enthusiastic about a blowout like that, thinking the next 2 games are going to be similar, because they're not. It could very well be a 1-point game in there, and of course, maybe worse than that, we could get beat. You know, I mean, I don't understand this football that we're playing today, but it's fun when you win. But it is different.
Yeah. Talk to me about Steve Smith. He really has matured, and I think because the defense dictated, has become the audible quarterback, checking off the line of scrimmage.
The guy who has done a fabulous job with him is Gary Moeller. Much of what you saw in there is a result of what Gary had set for Steve in this game. The first touchdown pass to Carter, the draw play for a touchdown, that's all Gary's plays and things that he had set up for Steve to do. And I think he's done a tremendous job bringing this youngster along. Steve Smith is probably as far along in knowledge of the game as any sophomore I've been associated with. And, of course, he's got some physical talent. And when you combine the two, I don't think he's as good as he can be yet. And if he thinks he's good now, he'll probably not get better. So I don't want him to think that he's good. But he is getting better, and we like the way he plays because he gives you a new dimension. He can run, he can pass, strong. He can do a lot of things.